Okay, this practice is going to be about 40 or 45 minutes of a slow flow, nice and balanced, some forward folds and back bends and twists, and one-legged balancing poses. So the theme this week is walking the walk. What I love about yoga and the faith journey is that it's all yoga. So when we're walking the walk, we're paying attention all the time. We're staying in the moment all the time. I think most importantly, we're practicing gratitude all the time. So if you think about someone who you know of any faith who walks the walk, you probably have noticed that they can be grateful in all kinds of situations, not only the good ones, but the challenging ones. Here we are in a challenging time, and I think right outside our window, nature is telling us a completely different story for which we can be grateful. Things are sprouting, the weather's changing and getting warmer, the sun is shining, the breezes are blowing. Yes, we're definitely getting rain and storms, but we need those too. So as always, you might want to have a block, a yoga strap, or an old necktie, maybe a blanket to pad your knees or support your head. So once you've got your props collected, just close your eyes if you're comfortable, and we're going to start to pay attention to our breath. As the very first thing that we can be grateful for, simply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Most of the time we are unaware of our breath, and yet it's there to support us. It's there to remind us that indeed God is as close to you as your own breath. And as your mind starts to settle, pay attention to your body as well. And what do you notice in your body right here, right now? Is it someplace that's tight? Or someplace you can let go? And so our yoga practice is a microcosm of the macrocosm of our lives. What can you find right now in your body to be grateful for? So part of walking the walk is also being honest with ourselves, accepting our limitations, and challenging ourselves to grow. So remember that you're your own best teacher. And then moving outward, moving your attention outward, think about your space. Maybe there's 6 feet or 10 feet or 20 feet around you. And is there something that you can be grateful for there, or someone? Maybe they're on their mat right next to you. And then think about something or someone going on in your community, maybe in the 1 mile or 5 mile or 10-mile space around you, and is there something you can be grateful for, or someone, or some group of people? And then offering a couple breaths of gratitude for all of creation. What might you be grateful for? On the earth, in the air, underwater. And so we have all these levels of gratitude that we can return to if you get distracted or you start to lose your breath. Just use those as a reminder to bring yourself right back to the present moment. And then gently float your eyes open, and we'll get moving by warming the spine. So I think today we'll go right to hands and knees. So remember to spread your fingers wide, pad your knees if you need to. On an inhale, lifting the tailbone and the crown of the head in that cow shape. And then exhaling, drop the tailbone. Ripple down till the head drops. If it's safe for you, exhaling, cat shape. And just keep moving. Starting to do that with your own breath. Inhaling and exhaling. A couple more times. Maybe it gets a little deeper, or maybe you're finding ways to push and pull with your hands, softening the elbows. Maybe you want to curl your toes under and get a nice little foot stretch. Just tuning in. Let's do one more. Hollow out. And arch. Suspend here with an open heart. And then exhale, put your big toes together and gently soften back towards child's pose. So maybe shifting a little bit from side to side as you settle in, maybe walking your arms further forward so you feel a nice long length in the spine. And then allow your head to drop if you can. A couple of breaths here. And then pull your low belly in. As you inhale, bring yourself all the way up to all fours again. Plant your right hand under your nose. And inhale, just lift your left arm to the sky. Just a couple of breaths here. Nice, easy, gentle twist. Keep your arm on the back, so this exposes our the head of the arm bone. We want to keep the arm on the back. One more breath. And exhaling, gently release. And then you're going to simply look over your left shoulder. Let your right hip rock out. So a little get a stretch on the right side of the body. And then inhaling, come on back. And then stick your left hand under your nose and take your right arm to the sky, keeping the arm on the back again and the back of the neck long. One place to rest your gaze. Exhaling, gently release. And then shift your hips to the left and look over your right shoulder. So we've basically gently moved our spine in all 6 directions. Now we're going to combine it. So on an inhale, you're going to bring your chest forward in that cow shape, and then shift your hips over to the right. Look over your left shoulder, then exhale, hollow out as you move your hips back a little bit, just going in a circle. And then inhaling as you come forward again, looking over your right shoulder. So just go in that direction. Cat, cow, spiraling around to the side. So being mindful of your own spinal conditions. Then we're going to inhale and go the other direction. Right. Hollowing out, pushing right. One more time. Come right back around to the front. Maybe walk your hands one hand length forward so that we're in a modified plank position. Spine nice and long, and then squeeze the elbows in. Try and get your hips to stay up until your chest and chin get to the mat, and then drop your belly down. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. So we're going to make more space today by taking our fingertips forward and wide. So tuck your tailbone so your sacrum stays long and wide, and then inhale. Gently lift your shoulders, gazing forward, and exhale. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale, gaze over your right shoulder, and exhale down. And inhale, gaze over your left shoulder, and exhale down. Then we're going to do one easy locust pose, so reach your fingertips towards your heels, and inhale your shoulders and your heels up. One more deep inhale. And exhaling, bring your hands back under your shoulders. Squeeze your elbows in, lift your hips first, and then we're going to curl our toes under for our first down dog. So go ahead and walk out your dog. It's never too soon to come back to gratitude. So push the weight off your wrists toward your heels. Don't sway back the low spine. You want to be nice and long and strong. One more breath here. Then on an inhale, you're going to lift your right leg to the sky. On an exhale, you're going to pull your knee toward your chest. So you can always do this on your hands and knees, right? Inhaling, leg to the sky. Exhaling, knee to the chest. Inhaling, leg to the sky. Exhaling, knee to the chest. And then you're going to bring that foot forward so that your ankle gets right under your knee. You can float down to your knees to do that as well. Take your time. And then we're going to open up right away to Warrior Two. So windmilling your shoulders over your hips. And just start to settle in here. Push into the outer edge of your left foot. And take your right knee to the back side of the body. You should still be able to see your big toe. And then just gaze over your front fingertips. Good. On an inhale, we're going to windmill ourselves back to high lunge. And then you're going to bring your back foot to meet your front. I'm going to sit down in a chair pose. So we're dropping our weight into our heels. You're going to pull your stomach in as you lift your chest. And inhale, come to Tadasana. Feel yourself nice and rooted. And exhale your hands to your heart. So right away, we're going to take a one-legged balance. You're going to stand on your left leg. Get nice and firm. Find one place to rest your gaze. And then decide where you want to put your foot. You can always go to the wall. Foot in the calf, maybe foot above the knee. Better to be standing on one leg and holding onto the wall. And then maybe we grow our tree today. Just remember, it's just a practice. Reach some energy out through your fingertips. Make some circles with your wrists. Come back to your breath. And exhaling, gently release. So you're going to come back to the front of your mat. We're going to go back down to the floor, so inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, gently swan dive forward. You can soften the knees. Then inhale, come halfway up. Fingers sweep up the shins. Exhale, bend the knees. And take the right leg back in high lunge. We're going to bring the left one back to meet it. Right? And just float the knees down today. And exhaling, hips go down last. So we're going to do those same 3 cobras. Push your feet into the mat. Inhaling, gently looking up. Fingertips are wide and forward of your shoulders. Exhaling, gently release. And you're going to look over your left shoulder. Inhaling, gently looking up. And exhale, release. One more inhaling, look over your right shoulder. And exhaling, gently release. We're going to reverse our push-up, so squeeze your elbows in, come to the knees, curl your toes under, and come back to down dog. And take a breath. Then you're going to inhale your left leg to the sky, and exhale, knee to the chest. So 2 more times, inhaling left leg up, drop that bottom heel, exhale, knee to the chest again. One more time, inhaling heel up, and exhaling knee to the chest. Pause here, know where you're going. You're getting your left foot, ankle right under the knee. Feel that high lunge. And then turn the heel, right heel down and in for warrior two. Windmill your shoulders over your hips. So check your alignment and then settle in for a couple of breaths. Nice. On your next inhale, you're going to get long and tall. Gently windmill yourself back to the mat. High lunge. Scoot the back foot to meet the front. Soften the hips down. Sweep the fingertips up. Chair pose. And then inhale, find the length and the stability in Tadasana. And exhale your hands to your heart center. And we'll take tree pose on the other side. So get nice and long and tall and strong. And then decide where you want to put your left leg. Use your drishti, your gaze, and then come back to the breath. And let's grow our tree today. So think about which way you circled your wrists last time and go the other direction. It's amazing what our bodies can do. And exhaling, gently release. Nice. So we're going to come back to the mat and flow a little bit more, inhaling arms up. And exhaling, soften into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling, bend the knees, plant the hands. Take the left leg back in high lunge again. So we're going to turn to warrior two. So you might need to shorten your stance a little bit. Little bit of space between my heels for stability. Did I say warrior one? I meant warrior two. So let's start by reaching our fingertips behind us, making the spine long. And then as you sweep your fingertips up, drop your tailbone. Keep that left hip pulling forward. Couple of deep breaths here. And then pull the low belly and you're going to sweep your fingertips back behind your hips. And then bring your hands to the mat. And we'll flow again. So inhaling plank. Maybe you want to stay on your toes. Exhaling chaturanga. Maybe you want to float your knees down and do modified up dog, where our arms are straight. Mostly in upper back, right? We want to keep our curve even. Upper back curved. Good. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back for down dog. This time you're going to lift your left leg to the sky. Bend the knee and stack the knee over the hips. So the chest is opening to the left. Keep breathing. And then turn your hips back to the mat. Extend that left leg. Pull it toward the chest. Inhale the left leg up again. Pull it toward the chest. One more time. Inhaling left leg up again. Pull it toward the chest. And bring the left foot forward in high lunge. We're going to take a twist here. So you can stay on your back toe or you could float the knee down, right? So make sure you're nice and stable and then bring your hands to your heart center. You're going to pull your low belly in. See if you can get your elbow to the outside. So if you can't do that, you could do your forearm. It's just a journey. Push your palms together and lengthen your spine. Good. Exhaling. Plant your fingertips so that you can bring your back leg to the front. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling, fold. Reverse your dive. Inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhaling your hands to your heart. And then we're going to do dancer pose. So I'm going to turn sideways. So you can see I'm going to stand on my left leg first. I'm going to lift my knee up, reach for the foot if I can, maybe grab the back of your pants leg if you can't get your foot, or maybe use a towel or a tie. So first we just bring the knees back together and get nice and long. You might want to stay here. It's a nice quad stretch. Or you might want to push your foot into your hand. You might want to take your body forward. Just keep that back bend going. And inhaling, come on, back out of it. And we'll flow again. So inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, gently dive. Right, so poses and counter poses, back bends and forward folds. On your next inhale, come halfway up. Exhaling, bend the knees, plant the hands. Take the right leg back and high lunge this time. So we're setting up for warrior one, little space between the heels. Hips stay facing the front edge of the mat. As you inhale your torso long, take your fingertips behind your hips. And then keeping that length, sweep your fingertips up. Couple of breaths. Come back to that gratitude at some level. And exhaling, sweep your fingertips back behind your hips. Plant your fingertips, and we'll flow. So plank, chaturanga, float your knees down. You can do regular cobra, or you can take modified up dog. And then exhale, down dog. And take a breath. Pull your low belly and lift your right leg to the sky, bend the knee. And stack it over the hips, opening up the right side of your chest. Mostly it just feels good to move and get expansive. Right, inhaling, turn your hips back to the mat, get nice and long. Exhaling, bring the right knee to the chest. Let's do that again. Inhale, nice and long. And exhale, knee to the chest. Then we're going to plant that foot, getting ready for our twist, right? So make sure you're nice and stable. Bring your hands to your heart center. And take your twist wherever you can. And find some stillness. And exhaling, fingertips to the mat. On an inhale, you're going to scoot your back foot to meet your front. Drop your hips. Sweep your fingertips up. Come on to standing. And exhale your hands to your heart. Then we're going to do our last one-legged balance. So this is a little bit challenging. It would be the place where you might want to grab a necktie or a yoga strap. So we're going to do a big toe hold. Revolve big toe hold. So I'm going to just show you if you're using the strap, kind of where you would be going. Just like that, okay? But we can also try holding the big toe and just maybe not straighten the leg all the way. So on an inhale, shift your weight in your left leg, lift your right knee. Bring your knee to your chest. Maybe you want to stay here. Maybe you can grab hold of the big toe with your opposite hand and work on starting to straighten the leg. Try and keep your spine upright. Leg doesn't have to go straight. Maybe you take the other hand behind you. Really challenging, right? So I'm not feeling it today, but you might want to take your gaze to the right. I'll give it a try. Oh, there I go. Just to practice, right? So maybe try that again later today and see how it goes. Right now, we'll just shift our weighting to the other side. Again, you could just use the strap, or you could stay holding your knee. Maybe grabbing your big toe. Nice hamstring IT band stretch. Maybe you move your gaze. Nice, and let go. Okay, we're gonna bring ourselves back down to the mat. So inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhaling, gently dive. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Take the left leg way back in high lunge. So before we go all the way to the mat, we're going to turn all 10 toes toward the long edge of the mat. All right, just do some IT band and hamstring work some more. So my spine is still long. You could grab hold of a block if you can't reach the floor. You could have your knees a little bit bent. But if you want to get into the IT band, you really got to straighten the leg. So on an exhale, see if you can let your chest go a little deeper. So if you had a headstand in your practice, you might want to go headstand here. Couple more breaths. And then slowly and gently heel toe your way in until your feet are just a little wider than hip width apart. Coming up a little higher if you need. Then you're going to keep your right leg nice and straight. Put most of your body weight on your right leg as you start to bend your left knee and bring your chest toward your right knee. And you'll feel this all the way up the outside of the right leg. So maybe then starting to circle your weight around that right foot and just notice where you feel it, if it's back in your heel or if it's more forward on the ball of your foot. One more breath. Let your head go. Then on an inhale, come back to center. Right, just acknowledging the asymmetry. We'll go to the other side. Exhaling, gently release. So most of our bodies are asymmetrical, whether it's just natural or it's from injury or event. So we're not meant to be perfect. So my left knee is bent deeply. Sorry, my right knee is bent pretty, deeply so I can get that weight into the left foot. And just start to play around with the weight. One more deep exhale. And then gently come on back to center. You're going to heel toe your way back out to that nice wide straddle again. So extending your spine, planting the left hand under your nose on an inhale. Take your right arm to the sky. Exhaling, gently release it down. Inhaling, keep your hips level. Take your left arm to the sky. Keeping that arm on the back. Exhaling, gently release. We're going to turn our toes to the mat, to the front edge of the mat again. So just put yourself where you can see me. And then come on back to the top of your push-up plank. Take a breath here. And then exhale, gently float your knees down. And chaturanga. Till you get to the mat. Right? So push your feet into the mat. And then inhale. Take a cobra. And exhale, forehead to the mat. So we're going to do just one back bend bow pose. You're going to reach for your ankles. So again, if you can't get to your ankles, you could just point your heels toward the ceiling with the knees bent, or you could hold the backs of your pant leg. You could rest your forehead on the mat and just make it a nice quad stretch. Or if you wanted, you could go a little more deeply, pushing your feet into your hands. A couple of breaths here. Keep the back of the neck long. Where can you make more space? Perhaps coming back to some level of gratitude for your body, for the few feet around you, for your small community, for all of creation, or one part of it. And then exhaling, gently release. Make a pillow for your head with your hands. And just rock your hips from side to side. Take one more deep breath, maybe even exhaling out your mouth. And then pushing your hands under your shoulders, lift yourself back up to all fours. We're going to do one seated twist. So I'm going to shift my hips one side so I can come to a seated position. So you can bend one leg, I've got my right leg bent, and just keep it parallel to your thigh, or you could cross it over. But you want that to feel like you're standing on that foot. So the whole foot is in contact with the ground. Activating that bottom leg, toes drawing toward the knee, sit up really, really tall. And exhale, gently twist toward your top leg. Maybe you take the arm up and tuck it outside. The goal is to keep the shoulders level and the pelvis completely perpendicular to the ground. So if you're slinking back, you might want to sit up on a blanket or block. And then take your gaze over that back shoulder and just breathe. And then gently release so we never miss an opportunity to do a little core work as we go to the other side. So maybe you want to stay here, just lifting your chest. Maybe you can rock back onto your hips and lift your shins. Maybe you take your fingertips to the sky. Maybe you want to lengthen your arms and your legs. Just go where you're comfortable. And then we'll twist to the other side. So stretch your legs out. Either left foot parallel to the thigh or cross it over. See how I'm really rooted in, toes are spread wide. Lengthen that spine and twist toward your top leg. Maybe you take the arm up and over. Maybe you notice a difference in one side to the other. Couple breaths here. Good. So inhaling, gently release. Extend your legs out. We're going to do one easy forward fold. So do this safely for your spine. Inhale, get really, really tall. And exhale, come forward mostly with a flat back, right? So maybe the hands rest on the shins, the thighs. Maybe you grab hold of the toes. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw, soften the gaze. And just use your exhales to allow you to go a little bit deeper if you can. If you only go 1/4 of an inch forward, that's okay. I feel a stretch, mostly in the backs of the legs, not too much in the low back. If it's okay for your spine and you want to drop your head and shoulders toward your knees, you could try that. Keep your legs active, heels reaching out. Again, gently using those exhales to maybe go a little deeper. Maybe it would feel good to move your head a little bit. This is great to do before bed, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. On an inhale, pull your low belly toward your spine. Extend your spine out long. And slowly and gently bring your shoulders back over your hips. And we're going to roll ourselves down onto the mat. So go ahead and keep your knees bent for a moment. We'll do one bridge pose. So drawing your heels in towards your hips, pushing your shoulders and your upper arms into the mat. Maybe we even bend our elbows, fingertips pointing toward the ceiling. Rooting the feet, especially the big toe, into the ground. So there's lots of energy and connection with the earth. And then on an inhale, float your hips up. Let the neck stay neutral. Maybe just gazing upward, or maybe closing your eyes. So both grounded and also light. Do a little body scan. Make sure your feet are still rooted. Your neck is still soft. Your backs of the arms active. Maybe you can lift a little higher. And exhaling, gently release. Take a couple of breaths here just to neutralize. And take your feet a little bit wider. Take your arms out to the side and simply windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So as we get ready to settle into Shavasana, coming back to those levels of gratitude, recognizing that that's the first step in walking the walk. It's all yoga. And this most important pose of all is your opportunity to just connect deeper with yourself, with the energy you've created, with something bigger than yourself, with God, who is always as close as your own breath. So maybe tuck your shoulder blades together underneath you, stretching your legs out long if that's comfortable for you. Keep them bent if it's better for your low back. And simply follow your breath, so no more work. Nothing to do until you hear my voice again. take one more deep inhale. Deepest exhale of the day. Feel yourself completely supported by the earth. And then make some motions with your fingers and toes to get moving again. Then gradually making the motions a little bit bigger. Maybe it's a morning stretch. Maybe it's another gentle twist. Eventually you want to draw your knees into your chest so that you can slowly and safely roll yourself to one side and then use your arm to push yourself up to seated, keeping the spine long. Go ahead and close your eyes again as you settle into a seated position. So perhaps turning your palms facing up, resting on your knees, acknowledging the amazing, bursting new life in creation, even as our communities experience challenges. Being especially grateful for the small circle around you, and not least of all, as you bring your hands to your heart center, bowing your head to your own body. Breath of gratitude for the way it carries you through the day, for this practice that makes you a better version of yourself, so that you can be that for others. The Spirit in me honors the Spirit in each of you. Namaste.